Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time again for another Postcard of the Week. And we're coming up to our May 3, May 3rd Wichita Postcard Club meeting, and I want to introduce our speaker that we'll have that Saturday. He's here now. His name is Bob Toll, and he's from Maryland, long ways away, but he has a special collecting interest that we thought would be most interesting to show and to help educate us all to learn more about the Livermore and Knight postcards. Sounds kind of medicinal, I know, but a little bit in a spoon every morning, it will help. Thanks, Bob, for being here, and I'll turn it over to you to show us something.
Thank you, Hal. I want to talk about Livermore and Knight advertising cards, and they were produced in 1891 through 1918. And the fascinating part about them, in my opinion, is that they used news reels and or newspapers to as ideas for their advertising write-ups for customers. So a customer would come to them and say, I sell typewriters. Can you make me up an interesting advertising card to mail out for typewriters? Or someone might come in and say, I have suits. What can you do for me for suits? And they would sometimes use the news headlines, other times just make up the pattern themselves. So the bottom line is that they sold postcards as advertising matter to customers. And the same postcard could be sold to 20 different customers over the nation. So in other words, if you were a collector of Georgia or Pennsylvania and you wanted to find a Pennsylvania dealer, Livermore Night cards could be very useful to look for. They tend to be very colorful, sometimes mechanical, and most often people see them as there's a little pouch on the card, and inside the pouch is a folded up advertising piece of paper. And you pull it out, open it up, and read it, and it has either a picture of a advertising item and or the write-up for the whole material itself. Now, they were in business from 1891 to 1918, so about 400 or so cards have been produced, and most of them are numbered. And if you're at a postcard show, some of them are the same size as regular size postcards, and they might be in the normal boxes, but others can be a little bit larger, and or they are sometimes a little fragile because of their mechanical nature, and they might be in an album. So sometimes ask for that. There is one card which is quite interesting, the advertising card they produced for the Smith Premier Company, who were advertising their typewriter. And as an aside, their typewriter was being scooped by another company, and their typewriter was going out of favor. And so this was their last hurrah. So they used Livermore Night to mail out their advertising. But the fascinating thing about it is it shows a typewriter on a table on a desk in an office. And as you pull out the platen actually can be pulled out, and it says remove the platen roll and read this letter. Where you open up the letter, which is attached to the platen, and it talks about how great the Smith Premier is. The fascinating thing about this type of typewriter is that is an underscore typewriter. In other words, when you hit the keys, the typed letter hits underneath the platen and you can't see it. So it's a blind platen type mechanism. Also, it had separate keys for uppercase and lowercase versus the new models coming out, which had just regular alphabet, and you hit a certain key to raise the platen to get the capital and so forth. So this was old technology, but it actually had a lot of market share, primarily because of the name. the title Premier was captured by a lot of people and they liked it. But anyway, the card does show on the back that it was mailed for 1 cent to the Penn Iron Works of Lancaster, PA, and it has a picture of a secretary working with the Smith Premier. And on the front side of the card, the color side has the actual Premier #2 in all of its glory. So it's kind of an interesting. It's a very difficult card to get. I've had many typewriter collectors want to buy this card from me, and it's only one I've seen. I mean, I'm sure there are others out there, but they're toughies.
Thank you, Bob. What you've it just opened a can of worms, so to speak, of all of the things that you can imagine that would be advertised by a postal card or a postcard. It's just or I know that you always call them cards
Right,
because it doesn't say postcard on the backs, but has a stamp box and a place for address and everything.
right,
All of these things you'll be talking about, and
right.
can't wait to see it. Thank you, and mark on your calendar. It's May the 3rd, 2025, and we'll be here at 1:45 p.m. in the afternoon Central Time. So adjust to where you're living and join us, please, for Bob Toll's presentation on May the 3rd. Thanks for being here, and thank you, Bob, again. Bye
Yes,
bye.
Hal.
You bet.
Pleasure.
Thank you.